Being an amazing product marketing leader doesn't happen by chance. It happens by habit. Product marketing certified leadership has been built on the back of decades worth of experience from some of the world's best known brands with one goal in mind: helping you be the best leader you can be. Crammed with real life case studies, over 12 hours worth of content, templates, exams, and more, this course is everything you need to lead with authority, confidence, influence, and innovation. Every piece of material within the 7 modules and 29 chapters has been vetted, tested, and approved by senior level product marketers from companies like Amazon, Uber, and HubSpot, serving up game-changing insights throughout. By the time you've wrapped up the final module, you'll be able to define what it takes to be a great product marketing leader, build and scale your team, understand how to successfully manage your existing team, use methods for leveraging data, know how to become the voice of the customer, understand how teams work cross-functionally, and improve your strategic thinking. The beauty of the course is you'll have the freedom to work your way through the modules at a pace to suit you. It's 100% self-paced. You'll even get lifetime access to the curriculum, paving the way for refresher sessions forevermore. Visit productmarketingalliance.com to get leadership certified and spearhead your journey to the top.
Hi, everyone. My name is Wiezbowski, and I'm the Director of Product Marketing at Peloton and lead our global bike product marketing team. Here's a little bit about my background before I jump in. I've been in a lot of different types of marketing organizations across a lot of different stages of companies, and started my career at Microsoft, spent 4 years since then running my own business, and prior to joining Peloton, led the earner engagement product marketing team at Uber. And along the way, I've become a huge advocate for product marketing. I believe so deeply in infusing user needs and adoption goals, not only into product design, but how we bring new products to market. I'm so honored to be here and to be a part of such a growing, dynamic, and amazing community of fellow product marketers. So thank you so much to the Product Marketing Alliance for bringing us all together and putting on this amazing event. Today, I'm going to talk about what it means to be a product marketer at a category leading company, and sharing some of my experiences working at companies that have actually created those categories in which they are leading. Imagine what Uber did for rideshare, what Peloton has done for connected fitness, and I'll also point to a few of my other favorite examples of world-class product marketing organizations in companies and at products that we all admire. Today, we're going to talk about a few things. Our goal is to define what it means to be at a category creating and leading product, what to expect as a product marketer in one of these organizations, and I'm going to share 3 of my big tips that I've learned along the way for how to be able to continuously break through and maintain that category leadership position as a product marketer at one of these companies. So first, let's start by defining and identifying across the landscape what category creating and category leading companies are. We're going to talk about 2 different types of companies. There are category creators and category leaders. Category creators have both a breakthrough product and a breakthrough business model. And by contrast, a category leader has the largest market share or the largest percentage of total sales in the given market that they operate in. These are often the same, but not always. But category creators have an opportunity to create the market and accelerate their leadership because they're innovating on their business model, because they've identified a new consumer need and a new product that obviously has a ton of opportunity. What's really exciting, and I think a story that we've seen plan out, is that often category creators are the same as those that are the category leaders. A study by HBR showed that category creating companies often take about 76% of the market share, of the categories that they created. And that's really, really powerful. They're able to do that by being first to market, by accelerating their learnings, their awareness, their conversion and adoption. And while it's risky, it can be worth it for them. They've found a product that people want, that people need, and they can deliver it in new, innovative, and breakthrough ways that enable them to scale more quickly than someone who has a product in a more established category. So this is good and creates a big opportunity, I see, for product marketing to play a key role in the growth and the maintenance of that leadership position when you're creating a new category. Here are a few of my favorite examples of the past couple years, products many of us know, use, love, advocate for, and I've had the fortune of working at a few of them. Uber certainly created and accelerated their leadership position in the rideshare market, maintaining the largest rideshare footprint globally across a very, very competitive landscape. Spanx dominates the shapewear market, created by Sarah Blakely, one of my all-time favorite entrepreneurs. None of us could ignore the growth and acceleration of White Claw over the past few years. They've grown spiked seltzer into a $550 million industry. And most recently, and one, of course, that I'm at now, Peloton has really created and innovated and accelerated their leadership position in the connected fitness space, and is expanding globally now in the US, UK, Canada, Germany, France, and soon in Australia. But here's the rub as a product marketer at one of these companies. When you're a market leader, you've proven that there's an entirely new category available, that there's lots of demand, and by doing that, you eliminate the risk for other entrants. And so as a default, what you're going to see is that being a PMM at one of these companies has a little bit of a double-edged sword. You have the responsibility of maintaining your leadership position, but everything that you do that works, it's very likely that your competitors are going to come in and use what they've learned from your success. And so it is up to you to really innovate and figure out creative new ways on how to maintain and accelerate category growth overall, but also maintain your leadership position in it. Now, I've observed a couple trends when this happens. When you come in and you've identified a huge category, tons of demand, and many competitors and lookalike products start following suit. One of those things is that you'll start to see advertising and communications across the landscape of competitors start looking very similar. This is a set of a few different advertisements that we pulled during a time earlier in the year when Peloton was having some challenges getting bikes to prospective customers quickly. And what you'll see is that Echelon, SoulCycle, and Mirror, many others, started advertising based on the time that they could get their products to their customer. So what this is a signal of is as market entrants come in, you are going to start seeing very similar messaging coming in at the top of the funnel, which presents a bigger challenge as a marketer for you to figure out as the leader, how can you continue to differentiate when the market is often using a lot of shared messaging. Another thing that you'll also see is that you're going to see your competition get very competitive. You are going to see those other products look at what your weak points are or unlock other areas of potential demand to try and capitalize on this. I think this is one of my favorite examples. You'll start to see headlines even where consumers are going to start wanting to know what's the difference between your product and all of the others. And in so doing, your leadership position kind of gets scratched away by several other products and brands entering the market. So as a product marketer, what are you supposed to do when you're part of one of these organizations? The things that you've delivered to market are successful, and so successful that other entrants are coming in. And they want to and will use the things that you've learned as successful, both in your product features as well as in your marketing communications, to market their own products. But you don't want to walk away from those messaging and kind of core reasons to believe that work so effectively for you. So what are you going to do as a market leader when you've opened up demand, other entrants have come in? How can you maintain and accelerate category growth as well as maintain your leadership position inside of it? What I'm going to do is share two big learnings that I have come through my experience and have shaped quite a few of the theses that we are putting into market over the next chapter. First, as a product marketer at one of these organizations, we need to accept the reality that you are both a category leader and a competitive product. And what that means is, as the leader, you have a responsibility and an opportunity to continue to educate consumers about the category overall, as well as your product's unique space to occupy in it and your leadership position in the mix of opportunities. And this is a really special balance between marketing your product, advocating for the core reasons to believe in value propositions of your category overall, but making sure that you strike on the unique ways that your product is different and better than the competition. The second big learning that I want to talk about is what I call find a new way in. As a product marketer, if you found a message that works, you don't want to walk away from it. But every message can be communicated in a multitude of different ways in really unique, differentiated channels. And my advice is that as a product marketer in one of these category creating or category leading companies, that it is your responsibility to find that new way in, to make that evergreen RTB break through and resonate in a new way, and ideally find a way to tell that story in a way that only you can tell that story and achieve even greater resonance and even greater impact for your business. So what I'm going to do now is talk a little bit about 3 tips I've uncovered for how to find a new way in once you are in the process of both educating consumers on the category that you're in, as well as being tasked with the bit from the business of accelerating or maintaining your leadership position in it. And along the way, I'm going to share a couple of my favorite examples from other categories, as well as a few stories from Peloton about how to make this successful. The first big tip is one that I like to call feeling over function. As product marketers, we love to look at the features. We love to look at the functionality. But if you've created a market and other entrants have come in, it's very likely that they are going to lean on very close functions and very close features for their product to get the adoption in the market and compete in the market as well. So I found the Shot on iPhone campaign, one many of you have probably seen across skylines and billboards in your city, as this really perfect manifestation of how I think Apple is demonstrating feeling over function. What they're doing here, rather than talking about whether they have 1 camera or 2 cameras or 3 cameras or how many megapixels do their photos capture. Instead, what this campaign does is it shows you what a photo can do, what a beautiful photo can do powered by iPhone, and how it makes you feel about the world around you, about daily life. And I think this is an incredibly savvy and nuanced campaign. By contrast, when you look at Samsung, for example, their ads often show hardware and show multiple cameras. And the iPhone has those too. But what iPhone is doing is focusing instead on the output of those features and the way that that output makes you feel. And I think it's incredibly savvy and sound product marketing. And it's been one of the campaigns I've ever seen with the longest run in any city. It's really powerful, really flexible, really globally extensible. And I think it does a really important job of demonstrating that when you put feeling over function, you can actually create even greater breakthrough with your audience over time. The second big learning I've found is around being bold. As a market leader, you get to focus on a couple other things. You don't have to focus as much on awareness or certain products because you are ahead in the market. And one of my favorite examples of being bold is a campaign called the Walkbird Detour. If you have not seen this, you should absolutely look it up. Now, interestingly, Burger King is actually not the market leader in terms of total burgers sold or the most usage of their delivery app, but they are willing to be bold in a way that their competition was not. And what they did was they actually encouraged their customers to go to the competition. If they downloaded the app, if they drove up to a McDonald's, they could only there in that location order a Whopper for a cent. And what is so brilliant about this is that they were willing to be bold and breakthrough and so much more differentiated than some of the things that we typically see from their category and competition. And it had real impact. They were able to drive 1 million app downloads in a very short time period. During that time period, they were also able to jump ahead of McDonald's app on the App Store. And I think it's a really important thing to think about. As a leader, how do you act as a leader? How do you act boldly in your category to continue to drive awareness, adoption, and engagement from your customers? The final tip, and one of my favorites, I'm going to talk a little bit about an example from Peloton. My third and final tip is what I like to call only at insert your company here. The prior area of focus around be bold is really about what will your company do. But this third and final tip is about really identifying the things that only your company can do based on its position and often its position of leadership and category creation. This is about looking for things that your competitors cannot and doing things in breakthrough, bold, ambitious ways because of what you've built along the way. I'm going to look at Peloton as an example here, and I'm going to talk about two different examples. The first is around price. Price is a big barrier for our customers. We understand that. It is a high ticket item, and we hear that a lot, especially when prospective customers are asking themselves, am I really going to use this thing? What we actually know the answer is yes, definitively yes. Our members love it. Our engagement and retention are some of the highest rates that I've ever seen in the industry. And so there's a real opportunity to think about price within that context and tell that story much differently than we ever have before and much differently than any of our competition can. What's really interesting and what you'll see coming to market soon is that we recently used a combination of third-party and proprietary data to tell a story to our prospective customers around price and value in a way that we never could have before. And what you'll see in market is a quite functional, direct message that Peloton is very much worth the cost and incredibly cost effective because we know our customers use the product so much. The second example is a bit less of the kind of functional evergreen RTB and looks a little bit about how we deliver an amazing and differentiated experience, which is rooted in our relationship with the music industry. Music is an incredibly important part of our experience, and simply put, there's no other connected fitness product out there that could and does have a partnership with the queen herself, Beyonce. We are incredibly dedicated and committed to our relationships in the music industry. And we were looking for some interesting ways to share that story. Now, I was not on the team at that time, but this has been one of the most successful things our team has done along the way. We leaned into our differentiator around our relationship with the music industry. And what we saw was that the Beyonce themed classes, partnership, and the ability to bring membership to historically Black colleges and universities was one of the efforts that our team was most proud of. It spoke to our values, it spoke to our unique differentiators, and did so in a way that only Peloton could do. So based on those three things, I hope all of you have an opportunity to work at category leading companies. It is incredibly exhilarating, but also incredibly challenging. And I hope you find these 3 tips helpful along the way. If you are interested in connecting, I'd love to meet you. Please feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn. And thank you again to the Product Marketing Alliance for pulling this together. I hope all of you enjoy the rest of the festival.